Hey guys, a lot of you have been asking me how I made this Mad Hatter hat that I wore to this year's Lanka Comic Con cosplay. And I thought I would show you how to make it, and it's really not extremely complicated, and it's not very heavy either. And you don't have to be a design expert to make it or anything. This is the first thing that I've ever made from scratch. And I'm not like some pro cosplayer. This is just my third time cosplaying, so don't feel deterred to be really creative and try to make some crazy stuff for cosplay. All you need is a box board. Okay, this is what's remaining of the box board that I used, because I used it to make the hat. So this is like the box that you get your TV in, or like your computer screen or whatever. Anything with this corrugated material, with corrugated material, because that's really good to give your hat a really firm shape. Okay, so you'll actually be doing a lot of markings when you're building something like this. Some people use white chalk and stuff, but if you can't find chalk, which I couldn't, you just use some lipstick that you don't really like anymore. Like this is some lipstick I bought a long time ago and it looks really gross on me, so I just use it to mark stuff now. So for example, to make the base of the hat, you just have to, let me see, I'll show you. So to make the base of the hat, you just draw however big you want the base, right? Just draw it and draw it with lipstick, right? And so that's your hat, okay? And then you have to get the middle. You will also cut a hole in the middle of this circle to fit in your head, right? The base of the hat. So how you do that is, you get some string, right? And you just tie it around your head like this. That's the length, the circumference of your head. Okay, you hold it out like that, the way it was measured around your head, and then you hold it out like that, and then you mark it around the string, right? And there you have your base already. So the reason why I'm not cutting and show you, I'm just showing you how to mark it, is because it is a bit of a pain to cut through box board. It's very tough to do it with just a normal scissor, which is what I did. Maybe I think you should use a heavier blade. I started using hacking at the board with a scissor, so I used the scissor as a blade. So anyway, you cut it like that, you cut another hole here, okay? Then you have the base of the hat. See, this is the base. You cut the circle, then you cut another hole here based on the string measurement, right? So you have your base then, okay? And then the next thing that you need is strips of corrugated board, right? So what this hat is actually several strips. Okay, these strips. So this is the best part of the hat, and you need really firm material here. So some people say, oh, why don't you use a bristle board or whatever, but those things aren't firm enough because the hat is so big, it can fall apart unless you have very tough material. So that's why corrugated board with 2 layers and corrugation in between really helps. So what this hat is many strips like this, many strips in a circle. That's what this hat is. So I even have pictures of the inside of this hat on my profile if you want to check it out. So there's about 10 strips that I cut out, just straight strips. And what I did is, you bend the bottom of the strip, right? And this is your base, okay? Remember, this is your base, and there's a hole here, right? So you tuck the bottom of this into that. Okay, so you tuck all the strips into the bottom of this middle circle, right? And then you glue gun it there, right? You glue gun it, or you use a glue gun if you don't want to get your hands messy, or you just use multi-bond. Okay, I use upholstery cushion multi-bond, which is good for cushion making, but in this case it was useful because mostly I used it to stick the cloth to the boxboard, which should work really well. So yeah, that's what I use. So you tuck these strips into your base, into the base piece. Okay, so then they're all standing like this. Then you cut another hole, another circle, right, and you stick to the top. Still you're not done, so it looks like it's done. You have these pieces. Okay, you cut the base, right, with the string thing. You have these pieces all stuck here. You have this, but still because it's such a tall structure, it's going to be really wobbly and you need some stability. So for that you get combi. Okay, this bendable wire, right? So what you do with this bendable wire is, you know, all these strips are in a circle, right? So you hook the wire around one. Okay. Now all these strips are in a circle. Let's just imagine. Okay. Let's say that this is the next strip in the circle, right? So you hook it into this, and then you hook it into the next one, right? So while these strips are attached in your hat, you have to go around hooking all the strips together like this. Keeps them in place. So what I do is I do like about four of those coils. Like I hook it through all the strips 4 times, like 4 sets of hooks, and you know, sometimes they zigzag to each other. There is no proper like method for doing that. You just hook them through in any way you want, and that will kind of keep everything in place. Okay, so see, when you shake it, it's fine, it's stable, right? So that is all the wire. You got the wire thing done. Okay, so then the next thing, the final step, so that's it, your hat is done, like basically. Then the final step is just the curtain, curtain material, or whatever material you think you want, whatever color you want your hat to be. So I got some old curtain because I didn't want to buy much cloth. I didn't want to spend on it because I was already spending on the makeup, which was made by the amazing Dominique Croos. Like, she's so talented. So check her out. She put some eyelashes, fake eyelashes, and very dramatic, you know, lashes. Dramatic eyebrows made out of this cushiony material, you know, what you use to stuff your cushions with, and it was used dipped in dye and so on. And then she did the colors, the cheekbones and the lips, and it was very David Bowie almost. And then she put the eyebrows on, and I was like, okay, now I'm the Mad Hatter. And the eyelashes really helped me look like a girl, a version of Mad Hatter. Now all you have to do is cloth it. So you cut a donut shape. This is all padding. Okay, I added it later, some extra padding with multi-bond because it was a bit loose. So anyway, forget that. You cut a donut shaped cloth. Okay, you put the cloth on it. You mark it with your lipstick, right? You mark on the cloth, mark the center with the lipstick, and then you cut through. Just cut 2 donut shape this thing. Place it on top, place at the bottom. Okay, at the edges, just try to, you know, be really neat as you can, and use a stick to scoop out the multi-bond. Use a thin piece of cardboard and evenly, and then slowly just drop the cloth on top and just push it outward like this so that you don't get any wrinkles and stuff. Okay, so you paste that, that's not a big deal. Then you paste the top, that's also not a big deal. Okay, at the edges you glue it down like that. Then this was really cool because I used the bottom of the curtain which already had a stitched hemline. So that's why it looks so neat. I didn't actually do any stitching. It was just some really nice auntie, I think a long time ago, who made this curtain. And luckily that auntie's work contributed to my hat looking really neat. So thank you, aunties. Measured some cloth like this and marked it again with lipstick down here. Cut it roughly, okay, just a rough cut, you don't have to cut it exact. Okay, so and then I started by multi-bonding at the top. So I multi-bonded all throughout at the top. Then I let it fall, right? And this is all like just trial and error, like I was just trying it out, I didn't know what I was doing. So it all fell down like this, and then obviously because it's a weird shape, it was hanging loose in some areas. So what I did is I pleated, just folded it, and this is all pins. Okay, so I pleated in some areas. I think at the beginning when I stuck it, beginning of the area where I stuck the cloth, I stuck it along the length of the board that was underneath, right? So I stuck the multi-bond there. Otherwise I didn't actually stick anything in this area. This is very little work here. So I pleated this and I pinned it all along. Okay, and I pinned it at the bottom. Okay, it's just with normal dot pins, and then again I pleated it here. So I just pleated it along, right? And if you have any patches left or whatever, you just cut another. I just cut another strip. I had a patch here because I miscalculated the weirdness of the shape. So cut another strip and just the same. You don't have to worry. This area is actually a mess down here because I've pinned it and pleated and all that stuff. So this mess was covered by this beautiful silk ribbon, which is what you can do. I mean, that's what makes your hat like so beautiful. It's a nice silk sash or whatever. And it also has the second function of covering up any kinds of mistakes. So I just covered all of that up, and then finally you just get a piece of paper, write 10/6, which is the price of the Mad Hatter's hat, and just a bit of glue here, a bit of glue there. That's it. That's all there is. So all of that just took about 3 hours and a lot of interest and a lot of enthusiasm to look totally amazing at the cosplay. Like, that was my aim. And also for the hijabis who are cosplaying, I cover my hair clearly, so that doesn't really stop me from doing the characters. I want to be, in fact, it adds to my creativity. So I hope this video helped and you guys will try to make this Mad Hatter hat at home.